Brought to you by Lord Carnage and the best of classic Game Room. You are dead and you lost the game. That's like double bad news right there. I would prefer you are dead, but you still managed to roll your carcass through the finish line. Test Drive 2 The Duel. I played this game a lot back in the day. As you can see, I still have my collection of Test Drive The Duel 5¼ floppy disks, including the expansion discs for Supercars, Muscle Cars, and additional scenery. What we're looking at here is Test Drive 2 The Duel on the Sega Genesis. It's been a long time since I've played the PC version, so I really can't compare the two, although I do remember this fairly well. And after playing more recent driving games like Test Drive Unlimited, for instance, any cockpit view style racing game on the Genesis is going to seem extremely sluggish and difficult to control, which is the problem when you pick up Test Drive 2 The Duel and try to play it today. This is not Gran Turismo, but Gran Turismo does not have 5¼ expansion discs. What's up? 1 point towards Test Drive 2 The Duel. Oh boy, I was distracted by the horrible music. That's rule number 1 in driving school. Do not rear-end a K car with a Ferrari F40. You are definitely going to get the more expensive repair bill. I vaguely remember the first Test Drive, but Test Drive 2 The Duel was really cool because it was the Ferrari F40 versus the Porsche 959. The Genesis version of this game gives you the Lamborghini Diablo. One of the best, most memorable aspects of this game is the incredible selection of gas stations. Randy's Gas in a Flash. That's terrific. The PC version, which came out earlier in 1989, gave you the F40 and the 959, but the Supercars expansion pack gave you the Lamborghini Countach, Corvette ZR1, Lotus Turbo Esprit, RUF Yellowbird, and Ferrari Testarossa. The Genesis cartridge came out in 1992, according to the copyright on the front of the Genesis cartridge. Don't know why they didn't put all the other cars in there. I guess it was either memory or they were cheap. It's a fun game. The whole concept of Test Drive has stayed the same for the most part since the very beginning. You drive from point A to point B as fast as possible and avoid the police. In the Duel, you are racing against another car, and when you pull up into those awesome gas stations, one of my favorite parts of this game, be sure to stock up on some refreshing cola and juggling supplies. I don't see a self-serve. This must all be New Jersey. At each gas station, they'll show you your time and how it compares to your competitor in the Duel. You can also race against the clock, but why would you want to do that? That defeats the whole purpose of the Duel. There's a lot of white BMW 325i's in this area. It doesn't look like New Jersey, though. All this driving and not a single toll booth. It's a bit tough to pick up and play today compared to the modern racing games. This is sluggish and it's difficult to weave through traffic because you don't get a very good sense of where your car really is compared to the other cars on the road, and if you touch anything, you crash. Brad Baby's Gas Bistro. They should have had a gas station expansion pack for this game. I remember spending days on end playing Test Drive 2 the Duel on a PC with a keyboard. The only way to drive a car, with the left and the right key and the space bar. It was a lot of fun. This is one of the earlier games that I can remember where you were driving really cool cars in this cockpit view. And it was a huge departure from Pole Position and some of the other arcade-style games that were around in the mid-'80s. They were going for that pseudo-simulation / arcade style, and it was a lot of fun. It still is. Test Drive 2 The Duel, as far as I'm concerned, is a monumental achievement in video games. The Genesis version today can be had very, very easily. Affordable game. Doesn't cost all that much. And if you've never played it, maybe you'll want to give it a try. Test Drive 2 The Duel. And while today I'd probably prefer to play Test Drive Unlimited, it's still great to see where the series was back in the day. The Duel. Before people drove with their hands on the steering wheel. You see the red dot? It's like Knight Rider. That's how all cars were back in the 80s. The best of Classic Game Room is on DVD, Blu-ray, and Laser Hypervision album set.